You're now watching The Wash Daily. Today news, recent reports are showing how a lot of states are really counting on cannabis money to come in and take over for where they're falling short in regards to their budgets as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The federal government is more than likely going to follow suit and legalize cannabis once and for all. A lot of folks feel that this is definitely going to happen, just a matter of when. Recently, CNBC's Jim Cramer, who usually incorrectly picks stocks, does bad forecasting, he spoke recently with the CEO of Canopy Growth, which is a cannabis company, and they're making their bets that by 2022 we're going to see legal cannabis. Well, you know, one of the things holding it up is the federal government's point of view that cannabis is a dangerous substance without any medicinal value. And the fact we can even have a conversation with even that being a statement is just ridiculous. The whole thing is just a bunch of nonsense. So whatever they're going to do, they're going to do. We're going to have to compete because all the other nations in the whole world are legalizing cannabis, and they're finding that cannabis is probably the most useful resource they have. So why would they criminalize it? It makes no sense. Well, it would, because the people who are in control of things don't want people having access to good materials to make quality items that are good for the economy and good for the people. Also in news, you know, cannabis regulation really comes out of the criminalization of cannabis. The Library of Congress recently compiled all of the racist anti-cannabis material, especially from right around the turn of the 20th century, when the folks like William Randolph Hearst and DuPont, the Rockefellers, when the leaders of industry were looking to transition away from hemp, a growable product that was going to move our country forward. Henry Ford had the plan to make a car based off the cannabis plant that ran off the cannabis plant. We grew the fuel in our country. We didn't go get hooked on foreign petroleum. You know, the American people, I don't know if we know this or not collectively, a lot of people do know, but there was a huge hemp hoax. And the only reason why we don't have hemp now in our diet or using it for materials or have so much horrible plastic polluting our planet is because some folks pulled off a hemp hoax in the early 1900s. And one of the ways they did it was with racism. And so the Library of Congress recently compiled a list of all these anti-cannabis racist propaganda pieces that were put into the media. It really shaped how people view not only cannabis but each other, and it's really been detrimental for our whole country. And so it's good, at least the things are coming to light, and it's interesting to see the lies that they perpetuated against the people to push them against plants and instead toward petroleum for profit. Also in news, a report came out that showed something pretty obvious to most people, but that cannabis users are happier than non-cannabis users. The study looked at about 1,200 medical patients. About 2/3 of them were cannabis users and 1/3 of the study wasn't. They looked at the data on a day-to-day basis regarding how these people were doing with not only how they were feeling, but the medications they were required to be on. One of the findings is that people who were on cannabis had to be on about 1/3 of the medications of people who didn't need to be. Also, their general quality of life was a lot higher, and they were generally in a better mood and happier. So I'm not sure if it's exactly breaking news. We should stop calling the ones who are using cannabis criminals and instead calling the criminals the ones who are criminalizing cannabis. Thanks for watching The Wash Daily.